guys, welcome back to my channel. I am talking about sugar sensitivity, and this is video 5 of 6. So this is going to be a little bit different because I think it's sometimes difficult to determine if you have low self-esteem. So I wanted to do a video that basically helps identify what low self-esteem looks like. So as we talked about before, I think in video 2, symptoms of sugar sensitivity include like low self-esteem and depression and anxiety, but sometimes those are really difficult things to identify because they're just terms. And if we really observe our lives, we don't identify things that are low self-esteem, or we don't identify our own actions with low self-esteem. So here's like a little bit of a list that I've developed over the years. I know I have had or suffered from low self-esteem, and it's hard to really pinpoint what that means. So this video is for you if you have trouble identifying what low self-esteem is. It's like something that you can feel, but it's hard to put words to. So also another thing, I just wanted to mention that when you stop feeling the reactions of a drug, if you stop feeling the highs of a drug, you automatically stop taking it. Like for sugar, if you're not experiencing those sugar highs, and that's what you really enjoyed, or if you don't feel the effects of alcohol anymore, what's the point in keeping drinking, right? So that's just actually one thing I noticed. I'm not really, something that I've noticed along the line, through this journey, is that I don't eat as much sugar because it doesn't have the same effect. So if you eat it with food, or if you eat it in terms of complex carbs with your protein and with a meal, you don't get those sugar highs, and it doesn't feel good when you eat it. So you almost lose your taste buds for it, if that makes sense. So that's just another thing. Anyways, let's get on to low self-esteem. So this is what low self-esteem might look like in your life or in other people's lives. It's low self-confidence, so that's not believing in yourself. Not believing in yourself could come in the form of fear, being afraid of change, not wanting to change jobs, or being upset at a curveball the universe throws at you. Let's say you lose your job or you get fired. Self-esteem and self-confidence look like fear and anger sometimes. Inability to talk to strangers. So let's say you want to go up to somebody, but you stop yourself from doing it because you're afraid of being rejected. Leaving social gatherings early, or being uncomfortable in social situations. So, let's say you pop into a party and you want to leave right away. Or you pop into a party and you stand in the corner the whole time and not talk to anybody. Or you stick to your own friend group and you're afraid to kind of venture off and make new friends. If you feel uncomfortable or self-conscious in any way during social gatherings, or during networking event, you don't know anybody, and so, or you don't feel good in what you're wearing. All of that is a form of low self-esteem and low self-confidence. If you let other people treat you poorly. So this goes along with not knowing boundaries and not being able to set boundaries. And that's also goes along with being in this type of sugar sensitivity and alcoholic families. Boundaries are very unclear. Let's say you have a boyfriend who always complains about you or talks down to you or is condescending, and you kind of keep letting that happen, and you almost believe the words that they say are true. That's low self-esteem, low self-confidence. People-pleasing. People-pleasing is doing things not because you want to, but because you think it'll make other people like you. So if you think that doing something will make other people like you, you're doing it for likes. And that almost has it almost has the opposite effect. People don't like you because they don't respect you and they don't even know why. But also, it's because you don't feel worthy and you don't feel good about who you are, so you have to go and do things where people will like tell you that they like you verbally, or it's like a very innocent way of being manipulative. Like, it does have the opposite effect, and it does just mean that you don't have great self-confidence. You don't, like, let's say you only do things for friends because you think that's what makes them like you, and because you don't feel like you have anything else to bring. But let me just be clear about these feelings. People-pleasing is an action. People-pleasing is something that you do. You probably do it because you don't know how you feel about it. So when I say because you don't feel good about yourself or what you have to offer, that's not why you think you do it if you're a people pleaser. So I used to be a total people pleaser. I was cured of this around this time last year. I used to do everything so my family would like me, and they never liked me. And I just basically learned that I need to do everything for myself and everything that I want to do, even though I learned that with other people before I learned this about my family. So something happened that kind of shattered me, and it was very unexpected. And I knew that, like, before I was a people pleaser, and I used to think that I would do things for my family because they were my family, but I realized after this event that I was doing it because I thought it would make them like me more. And basically they have zero respect for me, and they don't care about my feelings. And at that point I realized, like, why, like, wow, I'm really dumb. Why would I do anything just if I don't want to, just to make them happy, because they're gonna treat me the way that they treat me anyways. So that kind of mentality, sometimes you can't see it yourself, which is why I'm going through these like self-esteem things, is because when you have solid self-esteem and self-confidence, you can get through any situation with only yourself, and you have confidence in yourself and trust in yourself, and also trust in the universe. And so when you do something, you do it because you want to, or because you're in a relationship with somebody that is reciprocal, meaning like they'll do things that are important to you, and you do things that are important to them because you care about them. They treat you a certain way because they care about you. They care about your feelings. They respect you as a person. So that's different than people pleasing. Hiding and not wanting to be seen. So this is being avoidant, like avoiding people's phone calls, not wanting to get on the phone, not wanting to call somebody, rejecting your friends, like FaceTime for months on end, not going out, staying at home, being a hermit. You know, sometimes there's a time and place for that. So you need to recognize your own patterns. Let's say like you gained a little weight and you're supposed to go to a party and you don't want to because like you feel self-conscious. Like that is a form of low self-esteem. Feeling hopeless, because it usually comes from a disempowered state. So if you are so stuck into like a certain way of thinking, and it's a really hopeless way of thinking, then you're probably not empowered in your thought and in your action. Fear of rejection, that kind of goes along with inability to talk to strangers. Fear of rejection may even have to do with asking a friend to do something that you need them to do. Like, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you do this? And you don't ask them because you're afraid they're going to say no. Not believing in yourself, saying things like, I'll never be able to, or I'm going to be alone forever, or making just like ridiculous statements about your current state is not having a belief in yourself and that you're going to be able to get what you want. Lying or being secretive about things. So whenever somebody lies, you know that they're not doing the right thing. And by not doing the right thing, it could be anywhere from lying on their resume to lying about taking out the trash or cleaning. This could be lying about, like, usually people who are confident in themselves, they have high self-esteem, high self-confidence, they're open and they're able to tell the truth, and they're like pretty straightforward about things. If you're secretive, or you think people are like trying to con you, or you think you're trying to like manipulate something, it's usually like, by the way, people who are manipulative probably don't even see that they're manipulative. Also, so you kind of have to like figure out your own brain and how things work. Like, keep an eye on the things that you say and how they make you feel. If you feel bad after saying something, then it might be manipulative. If you go about doing something like the wrong way, or if you like give an indirect answer, think about what you do. Do you feel good about something? Then you probably wouldn't lie about it, right? But if you don't, this is my gauge. This is how I determine it. If you don't feel good about something, then you lie about it. So what I do is I make it a point to say things that are very uncomfortable for me to say. Like, oh, this guy broke things off with me. Like, that to me is really uncomfortable to say, but the more that I do it, the more I realize it's really like, it's not about me, and the easier it gets to say it, and then the more self-confidence I build, because obviously like every time something happens, it's like meant to be that way, but then you also understand that things always work out. Understanding that things always work out is a part of self-confidence and self-esteem also. If you interview happy people usually have self-confidence and self-esteem, and they're usually very like open about things. They don't try to control things too much. Like kids from alcoholic families try to control a lot of situations because their childhoods weren't controllable. So they try to like gain control by like physically and emotionally and mentally controlling things. That's something that I had to do, and I've had to let go of control a lot. Like to the point where like I don't need it, or I can be open and I can wait for things to happen and stuff like that. Unable to ask for what you need. It comes from a place of believing that you're not worthy, or from a fear of rejection. It also comes from a place of not even knowing what you want and what you need. Not doing things you know would make you happy. For example, we all have that friend who's like, oh, I want to do this. I want to spend more time doing this year, and like they do the complete opposite, and you're like looking at them like, dude, is that what you really wanted to do, and you're having trouble doing it, or were you lying to me? Because I'm a person that believes like you do the things that you want to do, you spend your time doing what you want, and you don't really let anything come into contact with that. You are very protective about doing the things that you want, the things that will make you happy, because that's in your own personal self-interest, because you are worth it. But there's so many people who are like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that, and they never do it. They always do things that are like bullshit things, like go out and drinking, or like wasting time in a relationship that is not going to go anywhere. And you know what? It's like not that, whatever, we've all done it. So worrying about what others think. So this is, if you're worried about what other people think, this could be like the outfit you're wearing on your way out, or about not wearing makeup, or about how you dance, or not dancing because you're embarrassed, or you don't go to the gym because you're fat, or you have trouble speaking up for yourself because you think that person's gonna think that you're a biatch or something. Like, these are certain ways that we worry about what other people think. And that is a form of low self-confidence, because you really shouldn't care about what anybody thinks of you. I have like maybe one or two people that I actually care about who they think, what they think about me, but I know those people wouldn't ever judge me. They were the kind of people who are like my solid rocks. I'll be like, hey, is this too much? Is this like, should I not have said that? Or like, I'm feeling really bad about this interaction that I had with somebody. And then they're like, okay, like, I don't think anything less of you, but like, you could have gone about it this way. Like, maybe you could do that later. So that's it. Also, defensiveness. If you're confronted and you try to defend yourself in some way or another, that's a form of low self-confidence. So defensiveness can come in so many ways. It could look like anger. It could look like giving an excuse. It could look like backpedaling. It could look like, like, oh no, like that's not what I meant. Or trying to explain yourself. Like if you feel like you have to explain yourself, that's a form of like defensiveness, I would say. All right, so now you have seen how low self-esteem, which is a cause of low beta-endorphin and low serotonin, can affect your life in many different ways. I just wanted to show you some of those examples. I hope you found this video useful. Please, if you haven't already, check out our 1 through 4 videos on this playlist about sugar sensitivity, and please share your own journey or experiences below. I'd love to hear about it. If you don't feel comfortable sharing below on YouTube, you can always email me, tiffany@poshinc.com, and stay tuned for more. We have one more video for you. Maybe we'll add more to this playlist as things go on and as I discover more, and hopefully and this has helped so many people. So thank you again, and stay tuned for more.